Of Tuesday, the 25th of March 2025. Straight into it, attendances, apologies. So, is there any apologies? I think we've got a full house today, which is great. Declarations of interest. I have 4 declarations of interest. First one being from Councillor Dudley Maslin on item 7.3.2, the Gascoyne Gymnastics Club. The Community Sport and Recreation Facilities Fund application. The nature of the interest is impartiality. The extent of the interest is I believe Councillor Maslin's daughter-in-law wrote the application. I have an interest from myself on item 7.3.3, reopening of the Blowhighs toilet facilities. The nature of the interest is impartial. There are I have distant family members that are owners of the shacks and blowholes. I have a disclosure of interest from Councillor Burke Maslin, item 7.3.2, the item on the Gymnastics Club. The nature of the interest is impartial and the relevant work on the grant application. I have an interest from Councillor Luke Vanderlers on item 7.3.2, the Gymnastics Club one. The nature of Councillor Vanderlers' interest is impartial, and this is due to the extent of the interest is his children are members of the Gymnastics Club. Thank you. Straight into confirmation of the minutes. My apologies, sorry. Questions taken on notice from the previous meeting, there are nil. Declarations of interest, we've done public question time. Is there any questions from the public? We do have 3 people in the room. No. Thank you. There is no questions, and I did questions taken on notice from previous meeting, there are nil. Okay, can someone move that we confirm the minutes of both meetings of the ordinary council meeting on 25th of February and the minutes of the special council meeting on 28th of February? Councillor Maslin move that, and Councillor Vanderler seconded that item. Is there any questions? No debate? No dissent? There being no dissent, they will declare that adopted unanimously. 8-1. The receiving of the minutes of the audit, the 4.3 is the minutes of the Audit and Risk Committee 25th of February 2025. Councillor Kelly, move that. Councillor Vanderler, would you move that? A second. Thank you. Once again, councillors, is there any questions? No debate. There's no dissent on this item. That's adopted unanimously. Announcements by the President without discussion. Once again, as per the last meeting, and it's getting a bit too regular. We've lost another one of our stalwarts of the town, Mr. Clive Thornhill, passed away quite recently, who gave everything to our town, I think, and well known throughout the region as well. So just like to acknowledge that. And on the weekend, another one that I was very close to was young Eric, I call him young Eric Rolfson. He's the same age as me. Unfortunately passed away in an aviation accident. His father and himself have been quite famous in our region in the aviation industry, especially in the aerial mustering of pastoral properties. So unfortunately he passed away in doing what he loved, flying a plane back to Shark and not landing. What do the Americans call it? He had a unplanned sudden deconstruction of the aeroplane. It's an amazing way of putting things. Anyway, he'll be sadly missed, I'm sure. Good, right. Without any further ado, item 6.1, Horizon Power Community Battery. We have the team from Horizon Power.
Morning. Thank you for allowing us to join your meeting this morning. My name's Caroline Forbes. I'm the Customer and Community Manager for the Gascoyne Midwest region with Horizon Power, and have our project manager from our major project team, Srini, and he'll just go through a presentation with you in regards to our Community Batteries 2.0 project. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Srini Venkata. Caroline was just asking me how my last name should be pronounced. I said I sometimes mess it up as well, so it's a bit hard. So I am from Horizon Power Bentley office in Perth. So I'll be managing this community batteries project, which we are going to be installing in a few towns. And this is a brief presentation about that. So I'll just go through quickly on what is in for Carnarvon at this stage. And if there are any questions, please do feel free to stop me in between, or I'm happy to take any questions at the end as well. Okay. First, we like to acknowledge all the traditional custodians of the land in which we live today. We pay our respects to all elders past, present, and emerging, and we recognize their continuing connection with the land, waters, and pay our respects to all. So just a bit of background. So Horizon Power is committed to this state government's goal of achieving by 2050 complete decarbonization, and as part of that we are trying to have an interim target of 80% decarbonization by 2030. Then our strategy is basically to go to this low carbon future by adopting different solutions, what are those available and how we can head to, rather than focusing on one particular one. Like we have a grid-based solar farms in some places, and we have SPSs or the standalone power systems, and we are also trying to put in this EV network just to support that EV take up. And the other thing is the distributed energy storage, like the rooftop solar, which people have them on their roofs. Am I audible to everyone? So, and the distributed energy storage is another one which is coming through. So this particular one, the main reason for this is compared to the traditional power stations where we have everything centralized in one place, with the solar coming in, we want to maximize the utilization of that solar where it is generated and stored locally, and then distribute when it's required. So that's the purpose of that one. Then community batteries is one such concept where we are planning to have these installed in a few towns. And our vision as part of this is we want to roll this out in future. I mean, this is the first step, but we want to roll this out in future, just like putting any transformers across. These will be popping up in other places as well. Yeah, it increases the energy reliability, reduces cost because we are able to limit the losses produced from the solar and store it locally. And also it helps us to renewable integration is quite easier having them close by. So this community battery 2.0 we call it because we have installed some community batteries as part of an earlier project. But this particular project we are going to deploy batteries in 10 sites across Esperance, Carnarvon and Exmouth. So in Carnarvon we have 3 targeted locations where we are planning to install this. And in Exmouth we'll have 3, and Esperance we are going first with 4 units there. This project has already received its funding. So the funding was approved under the state's sectoral emissions reduction strategy funding. So we've got partial funding from them and also partially from ARENA, which was only approved last January. So we've got the funding. And these systems will be deployed in the LV network at the LV side of the transformers. So it'll be more like a customer connection. And the picture which you see on the right is the one we are planning to install. So you have two modules on the right. This could be the one which you're planning to install, will have three. So it's going to be a 100 kilowatt units and with 250 kilowatt batteries. Now, Carnarvon, like I said, there will be three low voltage network connected batteries, 100 kilowatt, 250 kilowatt hours. And then these systems, yeah, this is the main thing. So what we are trying to attempt is, we are going to have these connected via DERMS, which is our distributed energy resources management system. As part of that, it brings in some benefits because this distributed energy, or DERMS, which we call it, it actually is like a software platform which takes in weather predictions, and it also captures the historical data from past for demand assessment, and then it is able to run an algorithm and try to maximize the utilization of these batteries so that it is optimized level of storage. So going by benefits itself, one of the main benefits is energy shifting. So we use it like, it's like a solar sponge, where we take in when solar is available and then release it when it's needed. So that's one of the main benefits. As a consequence of that, carbon emissions is limited. And also we'll be able to curtail the renewable energy, which otherwise needs to be curtailed because we have this batteries now to absorb them. It also enhances the power quality, small voltage and frequency dips, it kind of supports that. And these are, what we are going to install is called grid following batteries. So they will, if the grid goes, they also shut off. But when it is available, if there's some power dips, it will take that. And if there is any big customers, more than 30 kVA and things like that, like if they as a requirement, they will have to put smoothing batteries in. Now with these batteries, then we'll be able to offer that smoothing service as a product for them to subscribe to. So that saves a bit of cost for them. And again, grid stability by absorbing excess energy and reducing voltage spikes. So if there is a big unit in an industrial area starting up, like this battery, like a reservoir, it takes those surges. So there is not enough reflected on the network. The locations, we are determining these locations to go there based on our network studies, and we are seeing where the maximum benefits will be derived by putting these first three up in Carnarvon. So that is going to be assessed. I've actually had a few site visits yesterday, so we are looking at a few options. I'll share that as a first step. Now this is the rough timeline. Like I said, the funding approval from ARENA was completed in January. And then the early works are in progress now, and we are trying to finalize an EPC contract at this stage, which is close to signing off. And then the design and procurement because one of the batteries has got a lead time of about 20 plus weeks, 24 to 26 weeks. And then we have to go through the testing off-site, and we want to, once we come here, we want to make it sure that there's not prolonged testing on-site, so we want to do all the testing as much as possible off-site. And the deployment in Carnarvon will be after Esperance, so we are targeting the second quarter of 2026, and we'll be running some reliability tests after that also as part of the regular process. So these are some of the sites which we inspected based on our planning team's recommendation. So I was yesterday at this site, Egan Street. So the red rectangular boxes which are shown there are some of the suggestions based on where the location of the batteries could go. These batteries would be about the dimension footprint would be about 5 meters or 3 meters. With the doors open, so that's roughly the footprint of that. And yesterday, while on site, I saw that there is a Telstra tower there at one of the locations of the top end. So we could position our batteries just next to that or on this side facing the Egan Street. So we are finalizing that location at the moment. there was another one which was here in Marmion Street. Yeah, so that is another potential location where the main reason is this needs to be closer to the transformer to have better benefits. So that's why we are targeting these locations, and those transformers particularly have to be lightly loaded, and it gives us maximum benefits, because when the power is charging from other excess solar, it's using the same transformers to come in. So that's why if it's overloaded transformers, or when I say overloaded, it's close to like 80–90%, then we will not be able to put those close to that. So that's another option which was highlighted. And finally, this one, again, near the adult, the Babbage Island Road. So there are transformers just close to that road, so there is a location there which has been identified as well. So these are the three locations at the moment which we are looking at. And I mean, any comments you all have, we're happy to take it and relook at this. Yeah, so yeah, that's in short.
Thank you, Suri. Thank you. Very good. And councillor, are there any questions?
Yeah, with reduced costs, is that reduced cost likely to be passed on to the customer?
One way it's going to be passed on is if somebody has a rooftop solar, instead of that being curtailed because of the network issues, those are going to be absorbed by these batteries. So that's one way of the cost reductions coming in, because anyway, all of us pay the same tariffs in that sense. So it's actually reducing, if you say that, the state's budget, that benefit for the state, but in case of you having a solar on the rooftop, the curtailment comes down. Previously, if it was to be curtailed because of the network issues, now we have like these local batteries coming in, so that will be able to take it, absorb it, and then put it back again. So that export.
What's the useful life on a battery? Tell me about that.
We have a 10-year warranty on this. That's what we are going with the manufacturers.
Yeah.
But it will be about 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
So that's how our business case has assessed that based on that.
Yeah. What does that cost?
Okay, the total budget of these 10 batteries is around, like the total project cost is about 10 million. Okay, so, and these batteries, we have picked on these batteries because they have been used by the DNSPs in eastern states, and the feedback we've got about these batteries are pretty good. We've not used them specifically in any of the community batteries, like Western Power has not used them. But the reason why we wanted to go with this is, most of the batteries which are done here is batteries put together, and then the switchboard comes from some other manufacturer, then we integrate, and then there are issues coming up, like one pointing to the other. But this comes from like a packaged unit from one factory, and that is a benefit, and it's all integrated, and they seem to have a good experience. And the other thing is, this can, in future can go on pole top as well, like a reduced unit, but we do not want to do that because 100 kilowatt cannot go on a pole top. So we have to put that down there.
Yeah.
And the other benefit, like, is the smoothing services subscription, which I say, like anybody more than 30 kVA customers, they would have to provide for their own batteries, just as because it's a requirement under Horizon Power that they need to provide this smoothing batteries. So with these coming in, we'll be able to. I think we are doing a product. And not particularly in Kanawin yet, but in some other places we have that, so that will be extended. So once we have these batteries, any customers more than 30 kVA, they'll be able to subscribe to the smoothing services product. They don't have to put a battery on their own. So that would be the other benefit.
With in layman's terms, how long can three of those batteries, what kind of power do they supply? If, for example, the power was lost to town, do they power town for a little while?
Yeah, no, this is the thing. So these batteries are going to be grid following. So it's not going to be able to support the town. So when grid fails, this will shut off as well.
Right.
Okay, so it's not going to be sustaining that bit of thing. So what we call as grid forming batteries, more centralized batteries in the power station, but they come with their own challenges, because what we find is putting these in the communities, connecting it to the LV network, making it grid forming, it could be some other safety hazards which can come along with it, and there's much more integration needed. So we are working on that. But at the moment, all these batteries will be grid following. That means when grid goes off,
Yeah.
these will shut down.
Okay. Will they be 100% charged by solar, or will they also take charge from like diesel generation as well, whatever the other generation models are in town?
Okay, so we are planning, the DERMS algorithm, the way it is set up is it is only going to use excess renewable energy to charge this. So if there's going to be excess which cannot be consumed straight away, those will be assessed and be fed into these batteries. But having said that, if for some reason, like the batteries need to be operating at a range, it has to be at like 90% it should be charged, or it cannot go, let's say, below 10% because that's detrimental to the battery life. So what we do is if it goes below 10%, we have to charge them through diesel. So just to keep the life of the batteries. But we are hoping that it should not reach to that state, but there is a provision that we can do that as well.
Yeah, just one question, just from an aesthetics perspective. You mentioned 5 by 3 metres. Are they contained in like a sea container style, or is there like a 2 metre fence with barbed wire around them with high voltage?
Yeah,
Issues or-
okay, we consider, we actually talked to Energy Queensland, who are probably the biggest promoter of these batteries. They have used a lot. And they said that there's no need for any fencing because these batteries are self-contained, like they're all, there's nothing on the front, like to meddle with those batteries. Yeah, they are pretty self-contained. And the picture which I showed you had 2 particular ones, like 2 modules of batteries. Initially, we wanted to go with that because those batteries were kind of different type of batteries which had more density, energy density. But then the reason why we are not going with them is those are not fire tested, meaning that those batteries are superior and all that they tell us, but they are not meeting with the fire standard which we need to test through. So it's called UL 9540A. Those batteries have not been tested to that, and that's why we have to go with a battery which has been tested for fire, so that's why the footprint increases a bit more. So this, we are going to put probably like 40, 40, 40. Though I say 100 kilowatt, it's going to be 120 kilowatt. That is just to take care of some overload, but we will call it like 100 kilowatt batteries. And that's the footprint, but we are not looking for any fencing at the moment. If we put in locations where it is prone to any traffic, high traffic zones, we are planning to put some bollards in so that it is protected. But it doesn't really require any fencing as per the manufacturers or the users one.
Yeah, the only reason I asked is just along Egan Street there was a bit of a push there for a while, and I don't know if it will continue just to try and shift some tourists down with the library, and I think they tried to pretty it up a little bit along there, that was all. So there's some, I think there's shy with some benches there as well for people to walk their dogs while they're in town and things. So it's mainly just that Egan Street one, but near the police station it seems to be hidden, which is good.
We picked a few sites in Esperance. We were going to the same like public parks, like where we could avoid or keep it away from the actual walkway, but close to that place. And one thing was club it. The suggestion was just keep it close to the transformer so that it's all in that electrical zone. But some places we cannot completely avoid that, but we will try and pick. And we will write to the Shire with these, once, because I just, we had these sites identified about 2 weeks back. So now I had an inspection yesterday, and based on that I just prepared roughly where it can go. But we will write this again to the Shire to tell that these are the sites which have been chosen, maybe consider it.
They might be able to hide them as such, might be paint a bit of a mural over them. We've got a few murals around the town that the wall would go to.
We have talked about that, yeah, we have. So Caroline, we have talked about the fact that they've got opportunities for art and things, so. And we try and push for
Yeah.
Egan Street.
Yeah, we
As
will
like
identify.
Councillor Reid said, that's like, there's benches and there's already artwork down there and pushing the tourists. Yeah.
Yeah, we can definitely consider that, like at least 1 or 2 spots where you would like to we included with the pictures.
That's really
But in future, when we were out, the operations, internal discussions was we want to keep this as, dumb as a transformer. So, but then, going initially, it draws some attention, even in Western Power and Perth, they put, in some strategic locations, they have these paintings around new paintings. We definitely consider that, yes.
Have they actually influenced what type of battery that you're actually going to implement as part of the conditions of the funding?
No,
I'm just going on lessons learned from Shark Bay.
Okay. Yeah, I do not have too much information about the previous project, but this project, the arena funding doesn't mention about what type of batteries that need to be used. All they need is what is the capacity of the batteries which we need to go with. So they basically tell us it's 10 batteries, so we are saying you can put in 10 places this size, and they also allow us to slightly vary the size of the batteries. But it doesn't really tell us. But there is a lot of feedback which we have to go back to them and then tell them about this. But why we want to do, because we want to talk to the DFES people as well and get their opinion. But DFES in Western Australia still doesn't have a final document to tell us about these batteries, the requirement of these batteries. But we have used something from Victoria. And there's one in preparation by the DFES here in Perth. So when we looked at that, again, this standard was there. The UL 9540A is there. And so that's why we had to change the batteries. And we have not used the previous type anywhere else. That's why within our Horizon Power. We have always gone with the bigger batteries, which I mentioned.
Okay. Any further questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. McCann, welcome.
Thank you. I don't have a presentation because I'm not very good at that, so I'll just give you a couple of notes. But first off, I'm Tony McCann. I'm the operations manager for Gascoyne and also projects for the maritime side throughout the state. So, Mr. President, is it okay if I get someone to take a photo that I've actually attended this meeting? So, Danielle, can I get you to take a photo?
You haven't done anything yet.
Yeah, I know. Just so I can, say that I've turned up. Before and after.
We're recording.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before and after photos.
You can download.
No. I don't want to do that. So I thought I'd just give you a few notes on talk on some of the issues that we're dealing with the Shire of Carnarvon in the past and going into the future. As you know, the Department of Transport covers a variety of issues. So I thought I'd talk about maritime, the 1 Mile Jetty, some grants that we've undertaken, and aviation. So I think that we'll start with maritime because that seems to be one of your major issues here. Just to give you an update on some of the work that we're going to be doing this coming financial year. I'm not sure if you're aware of the boat harbour, but the T-Jetty, which is the main commercial jetty. We've done a P90 cost estimate to upgrade the fender system to 30 years design life. So that's 1.9 million, so that's going ahead, which is good news. Particularly because we're getting quite more interest in the boat harbour from outside operators. They're coming in just expecting to be housed, even though our infrastructure is limited on the capacity. So the other
What sort of requests are you getting?
commercial operators,
Yeah.
so fishing, also a tour operator. We've had 3 that are wanting to well, there's one arriving the end of March that just says you house me somewhere, so we've got to try and house them.
Would you like to lease the casino?
Sorry?
Would you like to lease the casino?
No, thank you. Moving on, sir.
That won't impede public access to the...
No. No, no. Public access will always remain there. You know, when we did the Snappy Jetty extension quite a few years ago, we, in hindsight, we could have made that the pens bigger. But when that was done at the time and in consultation, it was looking at 12 to 15 metres. Now we're looking at over 20 metres. So, Coral Bay, we're going to be excavating 5,000 cubic metres of sand in the sand trap, and then we will be putting that on the northern section past the Coral Bay facility. So it's like a natural movement, because when it was built, there was supposed to be a bridge to the facility to allow for that sand movement to go ahead, but then the government has not proceeded with that. We haven't got that money. So it's been a very difficult process, because the Coral Bay facility is still in the National Marine Park, so you're not allowed to dredge or dump in a national park. Even if I had just an excavator on the road, I'm not allowed to go like this or go like that. So it's been difficult to get approvals to do that. So
do you want to leave questions till you finished? Or?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so with that, and it's a World Heritage listed area and it's inside the national park. And I know there's a cost to building a bridge across there, but it is significantly impacting the environment, what is being done.
Mm-hmm.
So how do they balance a significant impact on the environment versus manually shifting the sand that would have naturally flown through there?
The technical advice that we've, and I'm no coastal engineer, is that the facility itself is not the main instigator of accretion or decretion of sand along that area. It's mainly from the north. But if we can, if we can continue, it's cost effective just to do what we're doing, which is sand bypassing, which we do at every facility. We have a sand trap, say in Exmouth, we do 15,000 cubic metres, and then we make beaches that the Shire want. So we'll be doing that same here. We'll be talking to you guys and saying, where do you want a beach nourished? And that's how we do it.
Paradise Beach.
Yeah, it's a lovely, well, I never saw it as Paradise Beach, but I'm sure it was. So you happy? No? Okay. So look, we've been working continuously with the Shire on a lot of maritime issues. In fact, our staff have been working the graveyard shift to assist the Shire in your endeavours to manage your coast. We've just commented on the coastal, the development of the tramp for Carnarvon and Coral Bay, and that's a coastal hazard risk management plan. So in that, it identifies adaptation types, which is avoid, accommodate, manage, retreat, and protect. And that's based on the scientific data that we've got, where sea level rises are going, so it's going to be from now to 25 years, to 50 years, to 100 years. So that will give you guidance on what you need to look at and the type of adaptation plan you want to do, whether you want to avoid, so you introduce some laws or whatever through your town planning scheme, accommodate, just let it come, manage retreat, where you actually manage a retreat as it's coming closer and closer and look at, or protect. And that's like protecting your assets, your major assets that you don't want to lose. Of course, that's the most expensive. So we've been preparing, helping the Shire prepare a grant proposal to the Commonwealth Disaster Fund, Ready Fund, using Coast West funding of 47 grand to undertake South Carnarvon inundation management concept design and cost estimates for levy upgrades. We've already signed a support letter, which you probably haven't got yet, from our Executive Director Maritime, supporting this proposal. We had our coastal engineer Michael Mullins up last week, yeah, and you met with him, yeah? All been good? Oh, good.
Very good.
This is the type of relationships about us directly assisting the Shire to attract funding into resilience, specifically around preparing impacts of significant cyclone-related storm damage, surge risk in the town. And this also follows us preparing a statewide coastal inundation assessment. Now, in this, it's interesting, in this, the Commonwealth Disaster Ready Fund, the application has got very strong merit because before it was just open, there's $1 billion, so 200 million over each year, over 5 years. But this time there's an appendix attached to it that identifies particular towns that need particular addressing. One, because of you're looking at your watch, pretty particular, isn't it? Because one, it needs protection, and we're looking at, or two, a low rate base. Carnarvon is identified in that appendix 1, so you've got more chance than anyone else. So, and also part of the disaster fund, normally it's 50-50 split. Clearly, Shire's not in the capacity to fund 50. So what we've been looking at is using the money that we, as the government did with the spit and the dredging as the Shire's component to it, and then it will just be, just in-kind component to that, where you get out bulldozers or whatever. So there isn't going to be a huge financial burden on the Shire with that. Okay, post-cyclone Shaw. The water level measured on the tide gauge in the harbour was equal to approximately 1 in 25 year event. We built that spit for a 1 in 50 year. Waves from the northwest, which is worst direction for erosion of the spit, the volumes of the sand placed were such that would withstand an extreme event such as one caused by Cyclone Shaw. There was substantial erosion in the dune system, but no breach occurred. Now, when it was designed a dual dune system, so one is sacrificial because it's going to get hit first, and that's worked fine. There's still a significant beaches have periods of erosion and accretion, and I hope the spit will accrete widen over the following erosion event, so it will naturally take its course. Because of what's happened, we've taken out 3 NAV8 beacons at the southern end of the Facine due to the shifting sands. We've put out a notice to mariners regarding the advising of navigation into your Facine. And also we've added an precaution, putting it on our Carnarvon charts and our Decky app about approaches into your Facine. Did anyone have anything to say on Facine?
So is there a survey being completed on the actual depth of the entrance channel?
Yeah, they're mobile. There was one due in April. I've asked for it bring forward because they're coming further north. So they're actually mobilising now. They should be here this week or next week.
Are you able to quantify the amount with the survey being done on the erosion that actually occurred? And how, like, if you have had
Well-
a chance to have a look at how close, you know, it is to the toilet block out there?
Yeah, we're not doing any surveys out there. It's just mainly
On the spit.
on the spit. So we can tell you if there's how much and where, if there has any of that sand come in, or is it just eroded going straight out, you know, down the coast, or have some snuck around the spit, which is always an issue. But I mean, look, I went out there and walked the spit yesterday, 45-degree heat, stupid. But you've got major issues all the way up to like most coastlines. You've got major issues. You know, it's just not there. So the other thing that we've been working with the Shire, but mainly with the Heritage group, is the One Mile Jetty. And we'll be providing further update to the working group the precinct working group when the next meeting is called. I have to say it's been slow in terms of European and Aboriginal heritage, and some inconsistent advice we've been getting on that, but we are persevering. So to date, we presented to common law holders in August. Pole resistant testing geotech investigations were August to September. Archaeological anthropological survey occurred in October 2024. And we received a report in December 24. We lodged the Section 18 consent application to DPLH in January 2025. We've got the final issue for construction drawings have been signed off by engineers, and that was in February 2025. We have a response from Yemenji Aboriginal Corporation on the archaeological anthropological survey recommendations on February 2025, requesting monitors for the commencement of works, which we expected. We presented the findings to the Heritage Council in February and received a letter of support in March the 6th. So it has been for the repair methodology with conditions such as interpretation plan, audit of salvage materials, proposed material specifications and a watching brief. I just want to point out any delivery of the final implementation concepts will depend on funding and grant, because what we are trying to achieve as a main project is to achieve as much distance as required with the possible funding, with the possible materials and funding available. That's our priority, not any heritage type interpretation. Now that the IFC drawings are complete, cost estimates and distance repairable can be finalised. On receipt of the Section 18 consent from DPLH, materials, machinery and resources can be arranged and estimated mobilisation date will be communicated to everyone. We've actually gone ahead and purchased a lot of the stuff anyway. We were just, it's better to get it there. We've got a shed full of mabu that is going to be the main timbers for the One Mile Jetty. And we've got as much timber as we were able to keep, and we'll be using all of that. I can't give you a distance at the moment, but that will come. I've just had notification though that, and this will be discussed with the Heritage Council, that while we have while we have plants on the ground, there was mobilisation and demo at a major cost. There is a potential to remove the first 100 metres from the ocean for safety concerns and also for safety concerns that no one gets onto the jetty. That 100 metres would have to be removed anyway if you ever got funding, if the Heritage Group or anyone got funding to do the whole jetty out there. So while we've got the plan there, we might as well get it. The rest will lay in situ until next stages of the project. Did anyone have anything to say, want me to comment on the One Mile Jetty? Okay, grants. This is probably one of my pet programs, and I've got to give Carnarvon credit, Rural Futures credit. They had DAPE funding, which is Driver Access and Equity Program, where it helps people, disadvantaged people, get driving licences so they can participate in workforce, cultural events, or whatever go possible. Without a driving licence, you're getting left behind. So Rural Futures was awarded a grant of $645,000 in March 23 to October 24. Out of that grant, they purchased 4 vehicles in this period, 2 manual and 2 automatic, to deliver driver training across Carnarvon, Coral Bay, Denham, Shark Bay, Exmouth, Gascoyne Junction, Barragara Aboriginal Corporation. In that year, 119 licences were achieved in this first delivery of this period. And noting that this is the highest number of licences achieved by any grant organisation in their first funding agreement in the whole state. Rural Futures have done an amazing job. A second grant has gone to Rural Futures of $710,000 to continue to target those that need this, and that runs from 24 to 26. Their forward estimates is they want to work with 270 participants to gain a further 180 drivers' licences. Because not only does it give them a sense of work, but it gives them the capacity to actually get work. And so I think that's a really good thing that's happened. And Rural Futures, a really good organisation to deal with. Aviation, no. Just regional boating facility scheme that is always open to the Shire, up to $750,000 to increase your boating ramps or capacity. 1.5 million has been allocated to Carnarvon through the program over the years, so I encourage you to continue to apply for that. RADS, which is the Regional Airport Development Scheme, the Shire of Carnarvon, through some very good lobbying, secured funding from the Department of Transport to facilitate critical upgrade for the Carnarvon Airport. This funding, up to $80 million, has been approved as part of the 2004-2005 state budget, and will ensure the airport's payment suitable for unrestricted operations of the Dash Q400 aircraft. This latest round of the RADS grants, the Shire of Carnarvon Coral Bay Airport has been granted total project cost of $270 and a grant of $135,000. On the reserve list, and sometimes projects fall over, so we have a reserve there, so we can pull that up, is the Shire of Carnarvon reconstruction of the airport's northern apron and rejuvenation of seal to the southern apron. So that's on the reserve list. I anticipate there will projects will fall over. And we continue with the regional airfare zone cap, and now that Labor's back in it, that's confirmed as well. So the other, the only two things that I've got, in talking to Mandy and President, you know, part of what we're trying to do is work with Shire in everything possible. One way that I can help the Shire is to help rejuvenate and activate your seabed deck. So I'm actually moving our office, which is down in the boat harbour, and we're going a bit too close to the Shire, but we're moving into the 30 Robinson Street.
Throw rocks on your roof.
Yes, Tony. So we didn't need to do that. We own that building down in the boat harbour. It's got a beautiful view. It's our land, but we see this as easy access for our clients and assist the Shire in activation of your CBD. So we'll be in there. I've done the project brief, funding's agreed. We'll be in there on 30th of June. Yeah, and the only other thing is I've arranged for our executive, which we call Corpex, which is the executive directors of you know, all the programs and all the units within transport to come to the Gascoyne. And we will be in Carnarvon later on this year to showcase the difficulties and the opportunities that lay here. And the President and the CEO have been invited to, I'm going to get a bus. So even though there may be things that are not transport, you can still point them out because they have their own clique that they can talk to. Yeah, so that's happening in August, and I'll keep you informed of that. But that's really all I've got to say. But if you've got any questions, happy to answer.
With the same Tony, I spoke to you before about, and we reached the point of agreeing that we should form a working group.
Yes.
On how we're going to manage the things, waterways maintenance over the years.
Yep.
So if we can continue to, and I'll leave Mandy to work with you on that one to form that. If we can form that, I think it's well worth it. The other question is the regional boating scheme. Is that purely funding for infrastructure
No, and planning.
and planning? Where does dredging fit in there?
It used to be in there, but it's not in there anymore.
So there's no grants available for dredging? Okay. All right. The other question I have then is the reef. I've heard some stories that there's a bit of a hold-up in transport and the ability to load the reef.
There's no hand up, no hold up from transport. I don't know if it's commercial confidence or whatever you say it is, but
we're live streaming the meeting, so if you don't want to say anything, don't say.
no, look, the capacity to undertake a project would undertake due diligence before you put in. Our wharf, Bickley Wharf, which would be the wharf that they would put it off. I offered land down there that they can put their modules.
You don't have to.
Yeah. Anyway, so there is a capacity on the wharf, and I would have checked that capacity. So they're looking at alternatives. Is what I'm saying. I definitely won't. We will support anything. You know, even like they wanting to do it through the moon. They understand that in the season where all the trawlers come in. no problem about it, but they need to have, either engineering drawings about what they're using, if it's over the capacity of our asset, engineering to support me signing off on it.
Thank you. Any further questions?
Yes, sorry to come back to the Coral Bay sand bypassing at the marine facility there. It's great that it's happening. Do we know roughly when?
This year.
This year?
This
Right.
year.
Right.
I'm actually going up with the engineers, not next week, the week after. And then we'll, once we've had a look, I've already had a look at the project brief and how it's going to work. Then we'll have a community meeting and tell you how it's going to go.
Yep.
It won't affect the operation of the facility, which is good. So the facility will, so it's taking the sand from what you call Borham's Beach, apparently. And there's probably 3 areas that we're looking at going up.
Along the Paradise Beach between?
Between the facility and Paradise Beach.
What was the process going to be? Was it going to be dredging or was it going to be like to move the sand?
Oh no, because you can access it just straight from the road or from the beach. There won't be any dredging.
Oh,
So it'll just be truck movements through the car park, near the toilets, and there's some access roads down there. And then we'll have bulldozers and that to create your beaches. The problem with Coral Bay and Tanbiddy, I won't get onto that, but that's in Exmouth, is that Coral Bay was never excised. The Coral Bay facility was never excised from the marine park. So the proposal now is the government has agreed to fund Tanbiddy, is that we excise both out of the marine park under our control and our use.
Excellent. Sorry, one other thing. I know DBCA has been meeting with Department of Transport in regards to Five Fingers Reef and the boating hazards through there. The Shire and Progress Association submitted a request for NABAIDs, I think in 2022 or 23 for that. Does the Department of Transport have any movement on that? Because out of those meetings, DBCA wasn't aware of our requests for navigational aids that we submitted. So as in the Department of Transport didn't mention that had happened. So because I got contacted by DBCA and they had no knowledge of it.
With DBCA putting NABAIDs there.
Yes, yeah.
Because, I'm certainly aware of Five Fingers.
Yep.
And that's a real a risk area for us. And we will try and mitigate anything we can, living on a depot, putting in NABAIDs or whatever.
Yep.
My issue with DBCA, is that, okay, you open up parts to the public, but there are other parts the departments need to step in,
100% the issue is being caused by them making access to Five Fingers more
But
available.
the channel is just so,
It is, yeah. Like I said, what they've put in is just what they're able to do under their rules, but it's not obviously not an official navigation aid, and it does have limited impact.
No, it will.
So-
It is on our list.
Yep.
We've had many meetings with the DBCA.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Just on the jetty timber, Tony, is DOT selling any of that at the moment, or have they sold
No.
any in the last race?
No.
Just that I have a thing from Gumtree here, I'll just point out the dates on it anyway. It looks surprisingly like the stuff that was marked at one stage that I was authorised to sell and then accused of stealing it. But I've got these photos here, I'll follow up the dates on it anyway and we'll have it at the working. But
Who's Who is it?
It's advertised on Gumtree,
Yeah?
and it's been marked, same as a lot of that timber was that was out there.
Oh, yeah, but does it have like who the company is?
Sorry?
Does it have who the company is? I don't do social media or anything.
Who's selling it? I don't either, it's just I've had it sent to me. I don't know how to work out this stuff. But it's
Councillor
Terrence McMicking, Miss Kimming, Miss MISKIMMING.
I'd be interested if you could send me that too, because I've heard a rumour that
Well, I've got a picture.
some wood that was sold has popped up somewhere else. Now, I don't know whether that has been an on-sell from someone who decided they didn't want it, or it's been illegally in. We have not sold any more. I sat there for 3 days in the heat and selling that wood, and that was it. We have not sold any more.
Okay, all right.
And we can't. There's nothing more to sell.
All good stuff, mate, but doesn't matter. Yeah, okay, no, it's just, I've been sent these photos.
Yeah, if you could send that to
Yeah,
me, we
sure.
can follow that up. Because, but like I said, it could be above board. Someone could have unsold it because their project fell over or whatever.
Out of that 200 million a year over the next 5 years from the Commonwealth, we get some surge protection. Is that a more permanent solution to the Pelican Point, i.e. rock walling? Would that fall into that category?
I don't know. I haven't had a look at the grant specifications. But levies and all that type of thing would come into it because it's about climate adaptation and it's about, your resilience. So all of that would naturally come into it. Yeah, I don't see why not.
That's a good possibility. And what are you going to do with, now that you're working collaboratively with the Shire as you do, moving into this office down here, what are you going to do with the facility down there? Have you had any plans, or are you just going to be shut up?
We'll still use it, but there's, like moving. I suppose the benefit of me moving here is that we've got a prime piece of land there, 2,500 square metres of waterfront that we would put up for lease. So you could get a developer, we could get a developer in there. It's quite a good piece of real estate. We would have to remove everything that's down there because it's all just asbestos. But yeah, look, there is no waterfront land left down there, and that's a prime piece of real estate. But it would only be leased. Yeah. So if you hear of any projects or that require harbour use, it might even be, residential.
Thank you.
Right, and no further questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you. I might join you for lunch. I don't know, I've got a few meetings to attend to, so thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you. We'll see you for lunch. All right. All right. With that, councillors, we'll move right along with the departmental reports. Item 7.1, which is governance, and the first item will be 7.11, status of council decisions. Could I have a mover for that, please? Councillor Burke-Maslin and Councillor Van der Leer. Councillors, is there any debate? Being no debate, is there any dissent? Being no dissent. That's adopted unanimously. Item 7.1.2, actions performed under delegated authority for the months of February and March 2025. Have a mover, please. Councillor Skander. Seconder, please. Councillor Kelly. Councillors, is there any debate? Questions? That being the case, that's adopted unanimously. 8-0 is approved. Item 7.1.3, minutes of the Gascoyne Regional Road Group meeting. I'll move it here. So, Councillor Basil, Burke Basil, and seconded was Councillor Farina.
Just a question, Mr. President, the Warra South Road, the one with the description's not on there, that's probably the most used road.
You're calling that the Warra East
Access
Road, which is the South Road.
Just don't want it to be overlooked because it's...
Yeah. So, I also have a question which I forgot about, but I'll ask it now. Then what will we do if councillors bear with me? The Warra North Road. Now, is that the old Warra North Road, or is it the coastal?
It's the coastal road.
That is the coastal.
Yeah.
It's not the old original Warra.
No, it was the original road Exmouth.
Okay. Right.
Madman's Corner, before Exmouth was there, it was Madman's Corner.
Yeah. I just want to make sure, because I have been along what was the road when you turned off and you kept going, but you're not on the coast.
No, it's not, no, that's right, there is a coast track.
Yeah.
But the road of Exmouth, that's what that was. The road, Warra South Road, that road from the Linden River to where it comes on 25 mile north of Warra was the old Exmouth Road. That bitumen road around there that goes out with the Tropic Capricorn signs, that's a new road. You know, when I say new road, it's probably 50 years old, 60 years old. But it's
Yeah, as in you're referring to whether it comes out at the highway or it comes out
There's two
what would
ways
be
to
the
go.
quarry.
There's
in
two,
Coral Bay.
yeah, because you can go leave the homestead and go through the 14 highway.
yeah, that's a track, yeah, that's not a road. It's a track.
Okay, so it's the one,
Yeah. The north and south road, well, the old gazetted roads to Exmouth.
I'm still confused. Right, so that's been moved by Councillor Nasmith. Is there any further questions? There's no debate.
Well, just for the benefit of the gallery, as a former councillor used to say, for the benefit of the gallery, the Shire received a request from Warra Station to add Warra East Road, which is the one that's actually south and then east, and the Warra North Road to the priority roads list through the regional road group. And council at the last meeting adopted that. So that's what's happened. We're just here to actually note and receive, receive the minutes of that meeting. So merely just a formality.
Yep. Thank you, Councillor Nasmith. Without further ado, councillors, is there any further debate? Any debate? There being no debate, it's adopted unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Lake. Item 7.1.4, minutes of the Gascoyne Country Zone meeting. Can move it, please. Councillor Van. Councillor Scumby, you move. Second, is it? Thank you. Are there any questions, debate? There being no questions or debate, that's adopted unanimously. Thank you, Mrs. Lord. 8-0. Item 7.2.1, accounts paid under delegated authority for February 2025. Councillor Welling, move it, please. Councillor Kelly. And seconder, Councillor Farina. Councillors, is there any questions? I have a number of questions which I was mentioning in the whole agenda. Okay. EFT 43419, remedial works Pelican Point Dunes, was that our own funds or grant monies?
Through the chair, that was grant funding, and that is what the regional manager was just talking about. Yep, there's still about 40,000 remaining in that, and so further works from the survey and in conversations will be discussed going forward.
Thank you. EFT 43431, lease of Robinson Street Art Hub through Real Futures. My question was how long will it last and where are we at with that?
So through the chair, executive manager of communities.
So currently the funding we've got is until November, so that will get us through. There's been a carryover of funding that will potentially get us a lease for an additional 6 months from that period onwards, but we will be actively seeking for additional funding from that point onwards.
Okay, so we're locked in until June 26th.
November 25,
Oh, November
but then potentially can take us through to June 26.
Okay, potentially. Okay. Thank you. EFT 43441, provision of civil grading on the Winbury Road and Mariguli Roads. I asked how many kilometres, but I thought that was maintenance after repair works. I was just curious how much was actually done for that. I didn't want to figure it out, but how much did we actually get done?
Yeah, and I have to take that on notice. The staff available to answer that question made contact with yesterday.
The next one was EFT 43458, Sports Marketing Australia. Was a progress claimant for capacity and capability assessment. So
Yep. So that was funding that we received from the Department of Local Government, Sport and Culture to do capacity building statements. So that was an audit of all of our sporting facilities and understand should Carnarvon position themselves in the future to get an iconic sort of sporting event to Carnarvon, but it also gives us a good report and understand where we need to go in terms of upgrading facilities. So they did the audit in November, so the report is partially there, and we're just getting some updates done and report back to council just for information.
fantastic. That would include the gymnastics.
Yes.
Thank you. Great. Thank you very much. Now, I think I know the answer to this, but I'll ask it. 434513, the race refund to the RAC, which is a significant amount of money, but I understand that is probably due to the property being rated less when it was after the demolishment.
I'm going to have to take that one on notice if that's okay.
Okay.
And get back to you.
Yeah, just for councillors' information, there was a rates refund of $43,409.
It's my understanding that that is the case, but we'll something to forward back to council.
Thanks very much. Is there any other questions, councillors? No debate. That's adopted unanimously. Thank you. Thank you. Item 7.2.2, budget adjustments, March 2025. Councillor Vanderloo.
I would like to move this motion. Before I do, I'd just like to ask a question, if that's all right, of the CEO.
Yep.
Just in relation to line item, the savings identified through the Community Growth Fund, the excess savings there that weren't allocated to Community Growth Fund projects. The suggestion is to allocate that to the procurement of a discounted Christmas decorations. I just wondered, have you had a chance to consider the current state of the Christmas decorations and other items where that 30,000 might be able to be invested? Just prioritise that. Have you had a chance to look at that yet?
Yes, thank you. Through the chair. Stephanie Becker.
Yeah. So the purchase of the Christmas decorations would be through Decor Hall, which is essentially second-hand Christmas decorations from the City of Perth. So 2 years ago, council will remember we put $100,000 in the budget to purchase Christmas decorations, more commercial decorations, but we realised pretty quickly that that wasn't going to get us very far. So what we're proposing is that we purchase 4 large commercial pieces. They're from the City of Perth. They're discounted significantly by 80%, so to purchase one would be about 40 to 50,000. They've given it to us as a discount for 10. So we've earmarked with the organisation that should they sell off second-hand decorations, so it's all about financial position, we wouldn't be able to buy them brand new, would they consider the Shire of Carnarvon? So they've let us know that they've got 10 large pieces, but we can only probably afford 4 of them that would suit the Shire of Carnarvon.
And then follow-up question, so that sounds like a good opportunity to purchase decorations at a discounted rate. Has that been assessed against anything else internally with the staff, just considering our current financial state? Even though I'm sure that'd look great, but is there anything else that the 30,000 could or should be spent on?
So through the chair, look, yes, and I think there is no end of where our money can go, but I have to say that coming into the town this year and the positivity that was received by the community for having the level of community decorations we had at Christmas, and the fact that there was also just a little bit of concern about how commercial and how robust and everything they were, that you know, trying to balance community outcomes and good governance and infrastructure and asset renewal, I think that it does stack up to progress with the donations.
I'd like to move the motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second, please? Councillor Farina. And I will echo the CEO's statements about the popularity and the appreciation.
Are you
from
opening the debate,
community.
Mr. President?
Eh?
Are you opening the debate?
No, I'm not. I'm just making a statement. So, debate's open. Is there any debate?
I'll speak for the motion, Mr. President, and also support the reasoning given by the staff, and I think the reasoning you're about to give as well. Christmas decorations in the main street do a hell of a lot to elevating the look of the town and get everyone positive at a positive time of year. So if there is efficiencies or discounted assets available that can do that at a greater level, then I'll support it. So I urge Council to support the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Mandel. Are there any speakers against the motion? There being no speakers against the motion. Any further speakers for the motion? No further speakers. Councillor Mandel, would you like to close the debate?
The debate's closed.
Thank you. Councillors, is there any dissent? There being no dissent, that's adopted unanimously. 8-0. Thank you, Mrs. Hill. Item 7.2.3, monthly financial report 2025. Removal, please. Councillor Vanderbilt. Second, Councillor Kelly. Is there any debate?
Just a question, please. Just mindful we're going into the budget workshops pretty soon, and I'm just aware of the rates receivable, which is still significant. I think it's about 2.5 at this stage, something like that. So I think 70% has been collected. So just going forward into the upcoming workshops and meetings, if we could just grab a few, just drill it down into some details if possible, so that we can address it if required. There's still some months left for some of those rates to be paid. So just we don't want that to compound further.
Through the chair, we will be presenting quite detailed debt item to the Audit and Risk Committee from now on at each meeting. We're in the process of putting together the report, and that will give us a very clear understanding of where our issues are across rates and other debt, and that will give Council or the Audit Committee and then Council the opportunity to drill down. So we'll certainly have all that information, and it will start to be presented on it by monthly, biannual opportunity.
All good. Okay, is there any further questions? No further questions? Is there... Councillors, is there any debate? There being no debate, that's adopted unanimously. Thank you, 8-0. Item 7.3.1, Community Growth Fund Applications Round 1 2025. Move it, please. Councillor Vandermeer. And Councillor Kelly seconded. Councillors, is there any debate?
No debate, Mr. President, but I'd just like to recommend I'd like to present this recommendation to Council, having been on the Community Growth Fund Committee. We obviously run a process here and come up with these two recommendations, and they are, like the Old Bastards, for example, this was for the purchase of a trailer, and they obviously put a hell of a lot of work into the community, contribute a lot, so we had two good applicants and two good projects to back, and I hope Council back them. And obviously this is where, this was the final round of the Community Growth Fund for the financial year, which has then led us to the saving of 30k, or the unallocated amount of funding from the Community Growth Fund budget that Council had set aside. So we've got that 30k left over, which we can then go into other things. So I speak for the motion.
Thank you. Are there any speakers against the motion? No speakers against the motion. Any further speakers for the motion? Councillor Vandermeer, would you like to close the debate?
The debate's closed.
Thank you. Is there any dissent, councillors? There being no dissent, it's adopted unanimously. Thank you, Mrs. Hill. 8-0. Councillors, Gascoyne Gymnastics Club Community Sport and Recreation Facilities Fund, item 7.3.2. Councillor Maslin will agree with that. Clerk Maslin. And Councillor Vandermeer seconded that motion. Councillor Maslin and Councillor Vandermeer both have an impartiality interest in this one. And Councillor D. Maslin as well. So, thank you. Would you like to open this one?
Yes, thanks, Mr. President. So I would strongly like to urge Council to support the officer's recommendation, but in a bit of a background here briefly is that the Gymnastics Club is a very active club in Carnarvon, and due to the nature of the gear and the equipment and the crash mats and the parallel bars and beams, it doesn't always gel cohesively with other recreational facilities. So they've been to a few different locations over the years, and originally when my kids were doing it, it was at the old PCYC, which is now a mechanics workshop. But anyway, not to be kept down for long, with the support of the Shire, they've relocated the old Scouts Hall and have gone in now for a grant to build a purpose-built facility out there. Now, to give you some idea of the numbers, they've got currently 50 kids on the books. They've got another 50 in the on the waiting list. So I think this is definitely an issue we really need to support, and I think there'll be further growth in this club, and the interest around it will be around for some time. So I urge Council to support the current officer's recommendation as put.
Thank you, Councillor Maslin. Councillor, are there any speakers against the motion? Any further speakers for the motion? Councillor Taylor.
Yeah, I'd just like to echo Councillor Maslin's sentiments towards it. I strongly urge everyone to support the Gymnastics Club. They were somewhat homeless there for a number of years, and they were off the dog and the bone. They kept at it, and they pulled through. They found a home with the assistance of the Shire. It took a while, and they've survived. And they've survived for the sake of the kids, and I commend them for that. We discussed the other day, and we actually went for a site visit as a group. It's very drab, and for the sake of that particular area, I believe something like this, if it's successful, would do wonders. It's a Shire asset. If this is approved, basically we get a free kick in terms of that existing building being refurbished, and where we don't have to. There's potentially some costs, direct costs to the Shire with maintenance, ongoing maintenance and assistance with the grounds there, but I believe the social benefits for the children, getting them off phones and screens and doing some physical activities together, far outweighs any cost for groundkeeping or where we can assist them. And also for the parents, an opportunity for parents to get out together and their children have something in common. So strongly support this, and again, like to thank the Gymnastics Club for their tenacity and just getting through their tough times, and wish them all the best for everyone's sake. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Skender. Councillors, is there any speakers against the motion? Any further speakers for the motion? With that, I'll put it, no. Is there any dissent? There being no dissent, that's adopted unanimously. 8-0. Thank you. Councillors, item 7.3.3, reopening of the Blowholes toilet facilities. And I've declared an impartiality interest in this one. Councillors, Councillor Kelly, you in that motion. Secondly, please. Thank you. Councillors, is there any debate? Councillor Kelly. Don't wish to debate it. Questions? Being no questions, right. Okay.
I'll speak for the motion, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Look, I think this is, given the time period we're about to head into, having a facility up there like that locked up and unusable is detrimental to the area and the users. And obviously there's a financial cost to it, but I think given the, we're going to need to take that sort of offline and look at how we deal with that in corporate sessions after this meeting, because that is something that needs to be dealt with, the financial impost of it. But having said that, given the benefit it creates, and as I said, the present time we're in, where we're heading with through season, I think opening those toilets is the right thing to do.
Thank you, Councillor Mandel. Are there any speakers against the motion? Any further speakers for the motion?
Yeah, quickly. Again, just like to support Councillor Mandel's comments, and I appreciate what Council is trying to do within the last year with this and the strategy. Just it was unfortunate that elections came along and the caretaker modes kicked in and it didn't really achieve what Council was aiming to. I do feel that unfortunately the community was somewhat disadvantaged by it. And in the current climate, nice weather coming, tourist season, and then with some of the social issues and things that we're trying to address in town, it's a nice place for the community to be able to escape to, whether it's an hour or a day or a weekend. So I'd really like to give the community a place to go and recharge their batteries on the weekend in a nice way. So, and little luxuries like that, I think we can assist with. I think it's worth it. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Skender. Both of your comments. I think it's important that we also recognise the ongoing commitment of the Council to fulfil the original intent of the Blowholes Reserve Management Plan 2014-36, which sought to manage the reserve in a more strategic, coordinated, and importantly, equitable and sustainable manner, while acknowledging the government recreational reserves are established for the benefit of the whole of the public and community. So I think that's really critical that we remember that, and that's what we're trying to do. So with that, is there any dissent? There being no dissent, that's adopted unanimously. 8-0, thank you. Item 7.4.1, Local Roads and Community Infrastructure Program Phase 4 variation. mover, please. Councillor Kidby Maslin. Seconded by Councillor Stender. Councillor B Maslin, do you have any? Debate or open debate?
Oh, I don't want to debate, but, you know, if it's a former councillor, say for the benefit of the gallery, Mr. President. So I commend the staff and the CEO, Mandy, on pulling all this together, because basically what it is, we've been given some grant money. It has a timeline to be spent by June 30. The way things are rolling, that's not going to be possible. So rather than lose that funding, and the intent of that funding is to, you know, for the benefit of the community, they'll be fixing the tramway bridge or other things. They've now managed to move it around and put that into the fencing around the Pioneer Cemetery, which the community expects to be done and done fairly soon. And basically, this is agenda item is about utilising that grant money before June 30 and the cut-off date. Otherwise, that would just be taken back by the government. So well done, staff, and yeah, hopefully we can just get it done, works completed on time, which I'm sure you'll all be working feverishly to do. So I urge council to support the current motion, or office recommendation, sorry, as put.
Councillors, are there any speakers against the motion? Any further speakers for the motion? Being the case, is there any dissent? There being no dissent, that's adopted unanimously, 8-0. Mr. Sill. Moving right along, applications for leave of absence. Do we have any applications for leave of absence? None. Motion of which previous notice has been given. There are nil. Questions from members without notice. Are there any questions? On 11, no urgent business approved by the presiding member. There is nil. Matters for which the meeting will be closed to the public. There is nil. Date of the next meeting is 22nd of April. So councillors, once I close the meeting, I've been told we're going to keep quiet.
Just allow us to cease the recording.
Okay. Give us time to cease the recording. So with that, meeting closed. Good.